Each day begins with a breath, a simple inhale, yet it's a miracle. A gift you didn't earn, yet were freely given. And whether the day ahead brought joy, struggle, or a mix of both, here you are, having made it through. And now, as the night draws near, there's another sacred gift waiting for you. Prayer. Prayer isn't a task to check off. It's not about saying the perfect words or crafting poetic sentences. It's about returning. Returning to the one who's been with you since your very first breath this morning. Before sleep pulls you into rest, let your soul find its home again in God's presence. The same presence that carried you through this day. Think about it. We started this day with something we didn't control. Breath. And now we're invited to end it with something we can choose. Connection. Not connection to the chaos of the world, but connection to peace, to stillness, to divine nearness. What if, instead of scrolling endlessly through our phones or replaying every conversation we wish had gone differently, we paused for a moment of surrender? What if, before the world fades into dreams, we simply whispered, "Thank you, Lord, I'm here." You don't need to impress God. He's not waiting for you to clean up your thoughts or dress up your emotions. He just wants you, right now, as you are, tired or joyful, worn down or at peace. He receives it all. This moment, this pause before sleep, isn't just routine, it's sacred. It's an invitation to remember who's been holding you all along. And maybe that's the greatest comfort of all. Knowing you don't end the day alone. Knowing that even as you drift into unconsciousness, you're being watched over, loved, and surrounded. Sometimes we get to the end of a day feeling like we didn't do enough, say enough, or be enough. But prayer reminds us that our worth was never tied to our performance. It was always rooted in who we belong to. And we belong to a God who doesn't measure us by our achievements, but by His love. So tonight, before you close your eyes, take one more deep breath. Let it remind you of the one who gave it. Let it center you. Let it slow you down. Let your final act of the day be a return, not to noise, not to worry, but to presence. You don't need to say much. Just be. Just be with the God who delights in being with you, because the day began with a gift from Him. And now you get to give one back. And that gift is simply this: your heart still and surrendered, resting in His embrace. Psalm 4:8 says, "In peace I will lie down and sleep. For you alone, Lord, make me dwell in safety." There's something sacred about those final moments before sleep. It's the quiet hour when the noise of the world fades and your soul has a chance to exhale. But too often that silence gets filled, not with peace, but with racing thoughts, regrets, what-ifs, and worries we can't seem to turn off. Maybe your mind replays that conversation you wish had gone differently. Or maybe you feel the weight of something left undone. Maybe your heart is anxious and your body is weary, but rest feels just out of reach. But what if tonight, instead of wrestling with your fears, you invited God into that space? God's peace is not earned through perfect, days, or flawless emotions. It's not a reward for having everything figured out. It's a gift, freely given in His presence. Peace is not the absence of noise, but the presence of someone greater, and that someone never sleeps. While you lie in bed, God is awake, watching, covering you, guarding your heart, your thoughts, your body, your spirit. You are not alone in the dark. The same God who lit the stars is the one watching over you tonight. His eyes do not close. His protection does not waver. So, what if instead of trying to solve everything before you sleep, you whispered a promise to your soul? In peace, I will lie down and sleep. Not because everything is fixed, but because you've placed it in God's hands. He can hold what you can't. You may not be able to control tomorrow, but you can choose peace tonight. You can choose to believe that you are being held, watched over, and loved in this very moment. And that kind of peace rooted in presence, not perfection, is the kind that calms your soul and stills your breath. Try this. As you settle in tonight, picture God drawing near. Picture Him smoothing the worry from your brow, whispering, "You're safe. I've got this." Let that be your lullaby. Let His presence be your covering. Rest, not because the world is calm, but because your heart is anchored in the one who never leaves. Even if the day was messy, even if your thoughts feel tangled, God's nearness doesn't depend on how well you performed. He isn't checking off your accomplishments before granting you peace. He's already here, fully present, fully attentive. You don't need to carry the weight of this day into your sleep. Surrender it. Place your anxieties at His feet. He invites you to trust, to breathe, and to let go. And in that sacred release, you'll find something more powerful than sleep itself. You'll find rest. So tonight, surrender the spiral, silence the shame. Trade the pressure for peace. Let God's presence wrap around you like a warm blanket and carry you into rest. You are safe, you are known, and you are held. Matthew 6:6 says, "When you pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father who is unseen. Then your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you." There's a beauty in this kind of prayer. Quiet, unpolished, unseen by others, yet deeply treasured by God. We live in a loud world, a world of performance, constant notifications, and curated perfection. But Jesus didn't call us to impress others with our prayers. He called us into stillness, into intimacy, into the kind of connection that doesn't need an audience to be meaningful. When you close the door behind you, something shifts. The noise stays out and honesty walks in. This is the space where you don't have to have the right words. You don't need a script. You don't need to be eloquent or profound. You just need to be real. Have you ever sighed in exhaustion and realized it was a prayer? Or sat in silence with a heart too tired to speak, but still felt close to God? That's the kind of prayer Jesus invites us into. A relationship where presence matters more than performance. God is not waiting for your perfection. He's waiting for your presence. The room where you pray doesn't have to be spotless. Your thoughts don't have to be sorted. All that matters is that you show up. Because the Father who sees in secret sees your soul. He hears the unspoken. He understands the groans, the tears, the whispers. And here's the beautiful truth. He delights in you. Not the polished version, not the filtered self you present to the world. He delights in the honest you, the one who dares to come, not with answers, but with openness. So if you feel like you don't know how to pray, start. There, say that. God, I don't know what to say. He'll meet you in that sentence. If all you can offer is a sigh, He receives it. If your heart is heavy, let silence speak for you. Sometimes the holiest prayers are the quietest ones. Prayer isn't about posture either. You can kneel, stand, sit, or lie down. What matters most is the posture of your heart. Are you willing to be open? Are you willing to be seen? In that sacred exchange, God does more than listen. He draws near. He transforms. Tonight, find that quiet room. It doesn't have to be perfect, just private. Close the door. Let the distractions fade. Sit with God, not to perform, but to be. No pressure, no pretense, just presence. Just you and the one who knows every layer of your soul. Let prayer become the safest place you go, not just before sleep, but throughout your life. A space of refuge, a conversation without judgment, a return to love. Because prayer, at its core, is not a formula. It's not a duty. It's a relationship, a lifeline, a sanctuary, a place where you can be fully known and fully loved. Psalm 42:8 says, "By day the Lord directs His love. At night His song is with me, a prayer to the God of my life." Can you imagine that? God Himself singing over you as you sleep. Not demanding, not correcting, just singing. Gently, lovingly, consistently. There's something tender about that image. After a long day, maybe a hard one, maybe a confusing one, you crawl into bed and heaven doesn't go quiet. It leans in closer, not to remind you of what you didn't get done or to replay your failures, but to comfort you with a melody of grace. Have you ever needed a lullaby? Not the kind you heard as a child, but the kind your soul longs for now. The kind that reminds you you're not alone, that you're not forgotten, that you don't have to keep proving your worth. That's what Psalm 42:8 offers. A lullaby from God, a divine song that doesn't wait until you're strong to start playing. It begins when you feel weary, when your head is too full, when your heart is stretched thin, and it keeps playing, even after you fall asleep. God's love doesn't end when the sun sets. His affection doesn't depend on how much you accomplish today. He doesn't stop being your father when you stop striving. In fact, it's often in the stillness, in the silence, in the shadows of night, that we finally hear what we've been longing for all along, His nearness. Tonight, let His song be the final voice you hear. Let it quiet the anxious thoughts. Let it soften the harsh self-criticism. Let it hold the parts of you you've tried to keep strong all day. He's not ashamed of your weakness. He doesn't withdraw from your exhaustion. He meets you in it. Picture it now. Your room is dim. Your body is still, and over the silence there's a song, a holy melody, not with words you have to understand, but with love your spirit recognizes. A lullaby that wraps around your soul and says, "You are mine, you are safe, you are enough." And maybe that's what we need more than anything at the end of a long day. Not advice, not answers, but assurance. A reminder that we are not navigating the night alone. That the God who crafted the galaxies is also the God who draws near with a quiet song of peace. So as you lay down tonight, don't strive to feel worthy. Don't pressure yourself to pray the perfect prayer. Just receive. Receive the song that's already being sung over you. Let your breathing slow. Let your mind unclench. And let sleep come, not just as rest for your body, but as healing for your heart. Because when God sings, your soul remembers, I am not alone. I am deeply loved, and I am held in harmony that never ends. Isaiah 26:3 says, You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast, because they trust in you. Perfect peace. Not partial relief, not a fleeting moment of calm, but steady, anchored peace, a peace that holds even when everything else feels like it's falling apart. We live in a world that constantly pulls our attention in 100 different directions. One moment, we're replaying what went wrong today. The next, we're forecasting all the things that might go wrong tomorrow. Our minds are rarely still, rarely settled. And yet, Isaiah reminds us that peace doesn't come from having all the answers. It comes from having our minds fixed, focused on God. What would it look like to truly center your thoughts on Him tonight? Not on the to-do list, not on the news, not on the pressure to get everything right, but simply on the one who already holds tomorrow in His hands. When we trust God, we're invited into something deeper than temporary calm. We're invited into rest. Not just physical sleep, but soul rest. The kind that lets us unclench our thoughts, breathe a little deeper, and loosen our grip on what we can't control. Peace doesn't mean we stop caring. It means we stop carrying what was never ours to bear. It means choosing trust over control. It means whispering, God, I give this to you, even when it feels unfinished or uncertain. And the beautiful part is this: we don't have to force that peace. We just have to fix our focus, shift our gaze, redirect our thoughts from the chaos to the Creator. And when we do, the atmosphere of our heart changes, anxiety softens, fear loses its grip, and peace finds its way in. Maybe tonight, your mind is full. Maybe you're worried about a loved one, or unsure of a decision, or overwhelmed by something you can't name. That's okay. God doesn't ask you to figure it out before coming to Him. He just asks you to come. Let your thoughts become prayers. Let your worries become whispers. Speak them or think them. He hears them all. God doesn't need polished words. He responds to honest ones. And when you release what's weighing you down, you make space for peace to take its place. So as you lie down tonight, let this be your practice. Take every anxious thought, every stray worry, and gently lay it before God. You don't need to wrestle your mind into silence. Just guide it softly, back to Him. And with every return to His presence, you'll find it, perfect peace. Not because the circumstances changed, but because your focus did. Because your heart chose trust instead of tension. Let His peace hold you tonight. Let it settle your thoughts. Let it remind you that while you sleep, the God of peace never does. He is constant, He is near, and He is ready to quiet your heart with His perfect love. 1 Thessalonians 5:17 gives us a simple but powerful invitation. Pray without ceasing. At first glance, that can feel overwhelming. How do we pray all the time? Isn't prayer something we do in church, in the morning, or before meals? But what if prayer was never meant to be confined to specific moments? What if prayer is less about reciting the right words and more about living in a continual awareness of God's presence? A conversation that never ends, a thread that runs through every moment, quiet, steady, always available. Pray without ceasing doesn't mean you have to spend every waking hour on your knees. It means your heart is open to God at all times. It means He's never far from your thoughts, never out of reach, never disconnected from your life. Think of it like this. Prayer is the air our spirit breathes. You don't think about every breath you take, but it sustains you. In the same way, prayer sustains your soul. A whispered thank you as you lay down at night. A silent plea of help me in the middle of stress. A quiet, I love you, Lord, as you turn out the lights. These are prayers. These are holy moments. God is not waiting for perfect settings. He meets you in the ordinary, in traffic, in chores, in tears, in laughter, and yes, even in bed, when your body is tired, but your heart still reaches for Him. What a gift, that even the final thoughts of your day can become sacred, that your last breath before sleep can be one of connection, not confusion. Prayer isn't pressure, it's permission. Permission to draw close at any time, to speak, to listen, or to simply rest in the presence of a Father who never stops listening. Maybe no one else hears your late-night whispers, but God does. Maybe you feel too exhausted to even form a sentence, but He understands even the silence. Prayer without ceasing means there's no wrong time to turn your heart toward heaven. It means the line is always open. The invitation is always extended. And if all you can say is, Lord, I'm tired, but I trust you, that's enough. That's prayer. That's relationship. So tonight, let your final thoughts be simple ones. Let them lean toward God. Let them reflect your gratitude, your longing, your surrender. You don't need a perfect closing, just an honest one. Just a moment of presence between your heart and His. Pray without ceasing, not because you have to, but because you get to. Because God is always near, always listening, always loving. Even in this moment, especially in this moment, He's ready to hear from you. As the night wraps around your day and the world begins to quiet, it's time to come before God, not with pretense or performance, but with honesty. A nighttime prayer doesn't have to be polished. It just needs to be real. Because God isn't looking for the right words. He's looking for your heart. So tonight, come as you are. Maybe you had a great day, Maybe it was messy. Maybe you held it all together on the outside but felt scattered inside. However you feel, God welcomes you. Start by saying, "Thank you, Lord." Thank Him for walking with you today, for the laughter and the stillness, the victories and even the struggles. Thank Him for being present, even in moments you didn't notice Him, because He was there, in every breath, in every step. Then, take a moment to release what you're still holding, the things you said that you wish you hadn't, the patience you didn't have, the opportunity you missed, the regret that clings. You don't have to carry any of it into the night. Lay it at His feet. Ask for forgiveness, not because God needs to be reminded to love you, but because your soul needs the relief of grace. Say, "Lord, you know where I fell short today. You saw the moments I didn't love well when I was distracted, anxious, or unkind. Forgive me, heal me, make me new." And then, entrust to Him the things you cannot fix, the conversations that didn't go right, the deadlines still hanging over your head, the relationships that feel strained. Surrender the weight of it all. You're not meant to solve it in your sleep. You're meant to rest while God keeps watch. Pray for your family, those near and far. Ask for peace to cover their rooms like a warm blanket. Ask for angels to guard their sleep and the Spirit to soothe their hearts. Let this moment become more than a ritual. Let it become a covering for you, for your home, for your loved ones. And finally, ask for rest, not just for your body, but for your soul. Ask God to calm the spinning thoughts, to quiet the noise, to let you sleep deeply, safely, knowing that He is near and never sleeps. If you're afraid of tomorrow, tell Him. If you're grieving something that didn't happen today, let Him hold that too. Nothing is too small. Nothing is too broken. This is your sacred space with the one who knows every detail and still calls you beloved. Because this is more than the end of a day. It's a return to the one who carried you through it. It's an offering of trust, a confession of need, and it's a moment where your spirit can finally exhale. So tonight, pray like a child resting in the arms of their Father, not striving, not explaining, just receiving, and let your final words be simple. Good night, Lord, I trust you with it all. Imagine this. You're lying in bed, the lights are off, the noise of the world has faded, and finally, there's stillness. In that silence, you sense something, a whisper, presence, and it's not demanding, it's not rushed, it's God, leaning in, speaking to your heart in the quiet. You are enough. You've held so much today. Maybe you carried burdens that no one saw. Maybe you pushed through exhaustion, smiled through pain, stayed strong for others while inside, you felt anything but. And through it all, God saw you. He saw the moments you chose kindness, even when you were tired. He noticed when you were misunderstood, but stayed quiet. He counted every small act of love, especially the ones you didn't think anyone noticed. He wasn't waiting for you to get everything right. He was already with you, already proud of you, already loving you exactly as you are. You don't have to prove anything to Him. You don't have to try harder, say more, or be better. He's not impressed by performance. He's moved by surrender. By the moment you whisper, "God, I'm tired," or "God, I don't know what to do," or maybe even just, "God, be near," those words move heaven. Because the truth is, God doesn't just love you when you shine. He loves you in the shadows, in the mess, in the silence, especially in the silence. He meets you there, not to fix you, but to hold you, to remind you that you were never expected to carry it all. Tonight, you don't need more strength. You need less striving. You need the sacred permission to fall into grace, to let go of what you've been trying so hard to hold together, to hand over the unspoken worries, the quiet fears, the hidden weight. Maybe you've been measuring your worth by how productive you were today, how well you performed, or how composed you appeared. But God never measured you by any of those things. He sees your heart, your efforts, your pain, and He calls you His. So let Him speak over you like a lullaby. You are mine. You are not alone. You are already enough. Let that voice be the last thing your heart hears before sleep. Because when God whispers, it's not to correct, it's to comfort, it's to restore, to say, "Rest now, child, I'm still here. I've never left." And maybe that's all you need tonight. Not answers, not solutions, just the assurance that you are seen, loved, and held by the one who knows every corner of your soul and still chooses to stay. Let His whisper settle you. Let it be the peace your soul didn't know it was waiting for. Let it be your final exhale. And as your eyes grow heavy, know this: you don't fall asleep alone. You fall into the arms of a God who never lets go. As this day comes to a close and your heart begins to settle, take a deep breath and remember, you are not alone. The God who walked with you through every moment of today is still here. He hasn't left. He never sleeps. And tonight, He invites you to rest, not just your body, but your soul. Before you close your eyes, take one more small step of faith. In the comments, simply write, "Good night, Lord." Let it be your final prayer, a sacred exhale, a gentle surrender of the day you've just lived. Maybe it was a good day. Maybe it was hard. Maybe you laughed or cried or wrestled with thoughts no one else knows about. Whatever this day held, offer it back to the one who holds you. He's not overwhelmed by your honesty. In fact, He welcomes it. When you write, "Good night, Lord," you're not just typing words. You're joining a quiet chorus of hearts all over the world. People who are choosing trust over fear, surrender over striving, and presence over performance. You're anchoring your soul to something greater than circumstances, to the unwavering love of God. And if this video brought peace to your heart, if it reminded you that you are seen, known, and loved, share it. You never know who else might be lying awake tonight, searching for a voice of comfort. Your simple act of sharing could become someone else's lifeline, someone's quiet reminder that God is near. And if you've experienced the goodness of God in the quiet, share your story in the comments. Your testimony doesn't have to be long or dramatic. It just needs to be real. Real stories have power. They whisper hope into places where silence once lived. They remind others, you're not the only one. You may never see the ripple effect your comment or your share creates, but God will. He uses the simplest offerings to carry the greatest comfort. So be brave, be kind, be honest. Tonight as you lie in bed, let go. Let go of worry, of pressure, of fear. Let your thoughts soften. Let your breath deepen. Let your heart settle into the truth that you are safe in God's hands. May your sleep be gentle. May your dreams be sweet. May you wake up tomorrow with a renewed sense of hope and courage. Because you didn't just fall asleep. You fell into the arms of the one who never lets go. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are not drifting through the night alone. The one who knit you together sees you even now. He watches over you as you sleep, and he delights in you, even in your rest. So from wherever you are, whatever you've walked through today, let tonight be a return to peace, to trust, to the simple, beautiful truths that God is here. Good night, Lord. I trust you with it all.